Hello, welcome to the INFJ Visionary. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary, and the topic of today's video is signs that INFJs are the rarest personality type. What do you think of that? Well, how did I come up with that? I just did a search on YouTube, and the most popular INFJ video is at 12 million views. That is its subject and topic. Now, I'm not angling for views. I just think it's funny. But we can start with that. The fact of the matter is, I have a lot of different things I want to touch on today, but we'll start with the rare thing. Yeah, I mean, why are we rare? It's I think it's because I've mentioned actually everything I mention I'll mention all the time, so I'll just stop saying that because there's going to be a lot of overlap in my philosophy of INFJness. But the reason I think for that is that the universe has us wired to do a specific job, just like you have cells in your body that do specific functions like killer T cells and things like that. We are here to do a specific function, and what that is, I'm not completely sure. I have my thoughts about that, and I'm sure we'll explore that. But we are wired to do that function. We're wired to spot things coming over the horizon. Many times we get accused of being called Chicken Little because we say, hey, the sky's falling or the sky's going to fall. And maybe the sky doesn't fall right then. It might fall in a year or two later. And we were right. Maybe we were just a bit early or who knows. We see things coming. That's just one of our many gifts, of course. But the one that I think gets us quite a lot of credits with others. Many times people have gone, "My gosh, how did you know that was coming?" And all this stuff was certainly true for me going through the pandemic thing we had a few years back. I saw just about everything that unfolded there coming before it came, and I was ready. So that's one reason I think we are the rarest type. The other reason we're the rarest type is it's not a very comfortable or easy way to live. I've got my first comment on my channel and it was brilliant. And basically the person who commented said this effin' FE, and they're so right. What is that about? What does that mean? Well, we have this NI matrix, right? And it's plugged into all these things. But because it's introverted, it all condenses down into certain points of penetration and insight. I think actually, I have a lot of friends that are extroverted intuitives. I get on very well with this kind of people, and it's a great interplay. That'd be a great subject for another video, the interplay between the extroverted intuitive and the introverted intuitive. But we take whatever is in the cloud and we condense it, we focus it, and we have our insight. And that's how we work and that's how we operate. And then we use that sort of insight radar to navigate our lives. And it can be very efficient in some ways, very effective in other ways, but it comes with a bit of a cost in that a lot of times our insights are not going to be that accessible to other people unless we have a gift of conversation. And even then, I would say you may have the gift of conversation, but if you're not talking in a relatable way that people can identify with, then it doesn't really matter. You're just, like James Joyce or something. Nobody's going to be able to read your book. Maybe a few, maybe a few that do go, wow, what a genius. This is the best stuff ever. But so there's another reason I think we're rare. We're rare because it's getting to my point. We are all about the introverted intuition. We are the flag bearers for introverted intuition. Yes, I know the INTJs. I just ran into one the other day. They're so awesome. They're so gifted, and I wish I could be an INTJ for a day and be able to experience that freedom because I think we don't have that freedom. What we have is the harness of the FE. We have that pulling us down to the earth all the time, saying, well, other people say this and other people think that, and you need to deal with it. Here, feel this, feel this, feel this. it presses on us. I could see how that could drive a lot of INFJs into depression. We'll talk about depression in another broadcast. I'll make a note because I have things to say about that. But it could drive you. I guess you're either depressive or you're anxious. Maybe I'm more anxious than depressive. I prefer not to be either one. And uh, getting back to the rare thing, though, who cares? I know most of you don't care, or maybe you do. The thing is, like, when I didn't know I was an INFJ when I was a young person. None of this stuff was really around. I mean, there was a couple books and things, but it wasn't part of the cultural dialectic at all. Okay, and that's come along in recent years, and now, if, like I said, you can search YouTube about INFJ, you're going to get a big heap and helping of stuff, and so much of it. Give me a break. We already ranted about the Sigma INFJ, and so many of these channels really annoy me. This is my response to all you guys that are just angling for a paycheck or popularity or whatever it is with your AI voice, your B roll, INFJ videos. I really don't like it. I want real conversation from real INFJs, real people. Obviously, you could counter that by saying, well, look, you're just a floating Apollo head and a voice. Are you a real person? You can tell I'm a real person. There's no AI that could do this or talk like this. And I can tell you, I know firsthand because I have been writing a book. I've written several. All of these videos may end up becoming the INFJ book at some point, too. And I'm working with the AI, and let me tell you, the AI can't talk like me, can't write like me. When I give it a wall of text and I say write like me, it pulls the facts and pertinent things out of the text, but it doesn't. It cannot communicate like I do. I don't know if that'll ever be different or changing, and it doesn't really matter. I just don't need all this fake stuff because we none of us do. Okay, INFJ channel makers, please stop. Please stop. Just give us real content. Okay, I can understand. I used to have a front-facing INFJ channel, and I couldn't keep up with it. And the reason why is, and I figured it out, and that's my epiphany, and that's why I started this channel again. I don't need my FE constantly telling me that people are looking at me and gauging and judging what I'm putting out. I'll be judged here strictly on the content of my words, and I think that is how it should be, you know. But some of you can face the camera, although I think that makes your channels weird, to be honest. Now, the last thing I want to get into here is subtypes of any of the Myers-Briggs or Jungian archetypes. Sure, there's subtypes. Okay. But, research into that, what a waste of time. Please stop. I don't need to spend any time figuring out what sort of subtype of INFJ that I am because I already know. There's nobody like me. I'm a subtype of INFJ of 1. Okay? And every other INFJ is a subtype of 1. However, we all use the same cognitive stack. That is what you need to look at. We start with our introverted intuition, followed by the extroverted feeling, followed by the introverted thinking, and last is the extroverted sensing. That is our preference for dealing with reality. That is the way that we are going to approach and deal with anything that comes our way is through that matrix. And then, of course, we go into the shadow realm when things go bad. And we'll talk more about that. I'm no expert on it. Of course, I'm an expert on being in the shadow and feeling bad sometimes, but I couldn't break down what particular aspect of my personality has come to the front and is wreaking havoc with my life. Anyway, sorry, I think I might be late. We're probably going to do this every 2, 3 days or something like that. But I'll be back, and until I do come back, INFJ, stand tall, be proud. You are amazing, and I mean that. I'm not just saying that to get your views and stuff. You are, and don't let them bring you down. Fight the power.